I'm an old man now, 67 years worn, sitting here in my weathered armchair by the window of my small cabin in the Blue Ridge Mountains. The pine outside sways in the evening breeze, whispering secrets I've carried for decades. My hands, rough from years of swinging hammers and turning wrenches, clutch a chipped mug of black coffee, long gone cold. The fire in the hearth pops, and I'm staring at the flames, but my mind's elsewhere, back in the years when I thought love meant giving everything, even when it bled me dry. I'm Amos Whitaker, and I've got a story to tell you, one that's been clawing at my chest for too long. It's about betrayal, about the slow burn of resentment, and about the day I decided to take back what was mine, not my money, but my dignity. It started 40 years ago, when I was a younger man, though not young enough to be foolish. I'd built a life as a carpenter in Asheville, crafting homes that stood against these mountain storms. My wife, Clara, was my anchor. Her laugh could light up a room, and her faith in me kept me steady. We had a daughter, Leela, and a son, Jacob, who grew up with dirt under their nails and dreams bigger than these hills. Clara and I poured everything into them, not just money, but time, love, and lessons about hard work. When Clara passed, cancer, quick and cruel, in 95, I made her a promise at her bedside. I'll keep them safe, I whispered, her hand cold in mine. I meant it. But promises, I learned, can twist into chains. Leela married a man named Vernon Tate, a slick-talking real estate agent with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Jacob, he stayed single, always chasing the next big idea, restaurants, tech startups, you name it. I loved them both, but love blinds you. For 25 years, I propped them up. Mortgage payments for Leela's sprawling house in Charlotte. Seed money for Jacob's endless ventures. Car loans, private school for Leela's kids, even vacations to places I'd never seen. I didn't mind at first. It felt right, keeping Clara's promise. But gratitude, that faded faster than a summer sunset. By the time I was 60, I'd given them over $1 million. My savings, meant for Clara's dream of a European trip, dwindled to nothing. My truck, a '98 Ford, rattled with every mile, while Vernon drove a gleaming Lexus I'd co-signed. Jacob's latest failure, a craft brewery, had me covering his rent again. They'd call me Pop, with a smile, but their thanks stopped coming. Instead, I got demands. Pop, the kids need new laptops. Pop, the roof's leaking again. Never a, please, never a, how are you holding up? I was their bank, not their father. The breaking point came one autumn evening in 2020, at Leela's house for her 40th birthday. The dining room glowed with candles, the table heavy with food I'd paid for, filet mignon, imported wine, the works. Vernon sat at the head, like he owned the place, swirling a glass of Merlot I'd brought. My grandkids, Ellie and Sam, were there, sweet as ever, but their parents. They'd changed. Vernon, flush with a new deal, leaned back and smirked. Amos, you must love this retired life. No work, no stress, just coasting. Ever miss being useful? The table laughed, except Ellie, who frowned at her plate. Leela chimed in, oh, Vernon, stop. Pop's earned his rest. But her tone was patronizing, like I was some old dog put out to pasture. I set my fork down, the clink loud in my ears. Useful, I said, voice low. Funny you mentioned that, Vernon. How's it feel to live in a house I paid for? Drive a car I signed for? The room went still. Leela's smile froze. Vernon's face turned the color of the wine. What's that supposed to mean? He snapped. I leaned forward, meeting his eyes. It means this old man's done bankrolling your life. Starting tonight, you're on your own. Ellie's eyes widened. Sam, only 10, whispered, Grandpa. Leela laughed nervously. Pop, don't be dramatic. But I wasn't joking. I stood, kissed the kids' heads, and walked out into the crisp October night. The drive back to my cabin was quiet, but my heart thundered. I'd spent years swallowing their slights, their entitlement, but no more. Back home, I lit the fire and pulled out my ledgers. I'm a carpenter, everything's measured, recorded. 25 years of payments, neatly filed in my oak cabinet. Mortgage help, $720,000 for Leela's house. Jacob's ventures, $380,000, most of it gone to failed dreams. Cars, schools, medical bills, vacations, $1.2 million total. I'd sold my own dreams for theirs. Clara's trip to Italy, my plan for a workshop, the fishing cabin I'd eyed by the lake, all gone. I sat there, the numbers staring back, and felt the weight of my silence. I'd let them think I was endless, like a well that never runs dry. But wells do run dry, and I was bone dry. The next morning, I called my bank. Stop all automatic payments from account 392-4481, I told the clerk, voice steady as oak. It took an hour, mortgage, car loans, insurance, all cancelled. Each confirmation number felt like a nail-driven true. By noon, my phone was buzzing. Leela first, her voice sharp. Pop, what's going on? The bank says our payment bounced. I stayed calm. I told you last night. I'm done. She sputtered, you can't just. Sam's school. The house. You've got Vernon's big deals, I said. Figure it out. Jacob called next, panicked. Pop, my landlord's threatening eviction. You gotta help me. No, I said, and it felt like cutting a rope I'd been clinging to. You're 38, Jacob. Time to stand up. He hung up, cursing. I sat by the window, watching the mountains, and felt something shift. Not relief, not yet, but clarity. The days that followed were a storm. Leela's calls turned desperate. Pop, we'll lose the house. The kids. Vernon tried threats. There are laws, Amos. You can't abandon family. I laughed, bitter. Show me the law that says I owe you $1 million. The neighbors started whispering. Vernon had been spinning tales at the local bar, painting me as a heartless old man cutting off his grandkids. Leela told her book club I was unstable, grieving Clara too hard. But I had the receipts, literal and figurative, and I wasn't hiding anymore. A week later, I drove to town for groceries and saw Leela at the register, wearing a blue vest, scanning cans of soup. Her eyes met mine, and for a moment, I saw the girl who'd helped me sand boards in my workshop. Then she looked away, cheeks red. I didn't say a word, just paid and left. That night, Ellie called, her voice small. Grandpa, why's Mom working at the store? Are we poor now? I softened. You're not poor, sweetheart. Your parents are learning what I learned long ago, nothing's free. She paused. Did we make you mad? My heart cracked. No, Ellie. I love you. Always will. The next blow came fast. Vernon's Lexus was repossessed, replaced by a rusted Chevy from a used lot. Jacob's brewery folded, and he took a job driving delivery for a hardware store. Leela's house went into foreclosure, a 30-day notice taped to their door like a scarlet letter. The town buzzed. Mrs. Callahan at the diner asked me, Amos, is it true you cut 'em off? I nodded. Gave $1 million over 25 years. They called me useless. Her eyes widened. $1 million. Word spread, and Vernon's barroom sob stories started losing their shine. By month's end, Leela showed up at my cabin, alone, still in her store vest. Her hands shook as she sat across from me, the firelight flickering on her face. Pop, she said, voice breaking, I didn't know. The money, the years, I thought you wanted to help. I did, I said. Until it became expected. Until you forgot who I was. She cried then, not the manipulative tears of before, but raw, like when Clara died. We're losing everything. The house, the kids' school. Sam's scared he'll lose his friends. I leaned forward. I'll pay for Sam and Ellie's school, their clothes, their sports. Direct to the providers. But your house, your cars, your life, that's on you and Vernon now. Her eyes searched mine. What else? I took a breath. I want you to tell the truth. A letter to the paper, thanking me for what I gave. Apologies to the neighbors for the lies. And monthly dinners here, not for money, but for family. She nodded, slow. I'll try to convince Vernon. You've got 3 days, I said. After that, my offer's gone. She left, and I sat by the fire, wondering if I'd pushed too far. Clara's voice echoed in my head, keep them safe, Amos. Had I broken that promise, or honored it? The next day, Jacob showed up, unshaven, smelling of motor oil. Pop. I messed up. All those ideas, all that money, I burned it. He looked at me, not as a son, but as a man facing his failures. Can we start over? I nodded. Earn it, Jacob. No more handouts. He hugged me, awkward, like he hadn't in years. 2 days later, Leela and Vernon returned with the kids. Vernon's pride was gone, his shoulders slumped. Amos, he said, I was wrong. I took you for granted, bragged about things I didn't earn. I'm sorry. Leela handed me a letter, already submitted to the Asheville Citizen-Times, detailing my support, the gratitude, their regret. We posted it online too, she said. And we're talking to the neighbors tomorrow. I wrote a check for the kids' school, handed it to Leela. This is for them. The rest is up to you. 3 months later, they're still struggling, but it's different. Leela's a shift manager now, earning $16 an hour. Vernon's selling smaller properties, living lean. Jacob's saving for a used car, working overtime. The kids are thriving. Ellie's in art club, Sam's on the soccer team, both secure in their school. We have dinner every Sunday, not fancy, just stew and cornbread, but we talk. Really talk. Last week, Sam said, Grandpa, I'm proud of Mom. She works hard. Ellie drew me a picture of the mountains, with, thank you, Grandpa, in crayon. I'm not saying it's perfect. There's still pain, still scars. But for the first time in years, I feel like Amos again, not a wallet, but a father, a grandfather, a man. Revenge. It wasn't about hurting them. It was about waking them up, showing them what Clara and I always knew, love isn't money. It's respect, earned through sweat and truth. If this story hit you, if it's something in your heart, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more. Tell me in the comments, have you ever had to draw a line to take back your dignity? I'm listening.